Hello and welcome to episode 119 of Gamers of a Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Chesson, and joining me this week, it's the other spark on the pod, our resident bunny whisperer. It's Mr. James Thomas.
Hello. How are you doing, Anthony?
I'm not too bad, sir. I'm not too bad. How are you?
Good. Yes, some of the bunnies need more whispering than others, it's fair to say. Actually, we went to Pets at Home the other night just to try and pick up some more supplies for the bunnies, and it seems almost routine, despite having 4 at home, that Ali will go and sit and stare at the new arrivals in the little bunny section they have there, and I swear if I sent her shopping on her own, she would come back with at least an extra bunny every single time. We've got
one in her pockets.
Indeed.
It's like one in each pocket. It's just like, how did they get there?
It's going to be like when she goes clothes shopping. It's like, no. We've always had 5. Didn't you know? Yeah. We always had 5 bunnies.
Just try and convince you that there's 5. How do you think the bunnies would deal with a new one? Do you think they would? Would a couple kind of maybe help them kind of the orientation, and the others would maybe?
One would strike up an itinerary for bunny onboarding.
Yes.
In all seriousness, we have a pecking order. There is a pecking order with our bunnies. So we have tiny little Aslan, who is chief bunny, who seems to rule through a mix of fear and compassion. So occasionally he'll assert his authority over the other bunnies and just run at them and growl at them slightly. And other times he'll run up them and then start grooming them. It's this weirdly like overly aggressive, like, come here and let me groom you. It's like, oh. I think it's just to keep the other bunnies on their toes. But then we have Berry, who's the largest and very food motivated. Will chase anyone else out the way for food. And then it's pretty much the scraps for Hopscotch and poor Herschel at the bottom.
Right.
So this is why I would happily have more bunnies, but we have that weird bunny political tiering that we already have. Yes. I don't know where another one would slot in. So.
Yes, because if it came in and it was too much of an alpha bunny, then you're just going to have fights.
Oh, yeah.
That's just hilarious. I love that they've all got their own little personalities and they're just kind of like, that's just so cool.
Yeah.
They are cool, though. They are just running around. I did enjoy them when I was over. It was quite cool just to have these guys. They kind of come up to you like, you're new, I don't know who you are. And they just run away.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
do you have food? Like, oh, no.
Yeah, you're not food, are you? No, I'm off. So
it was the same during Super Bowl as well, because we had a few people stop over for the Super Bowl party, and so I swear they were there just like, it's 3 a.m. Why are you still here? Could you just leave us be at this point?
Could you keep it down, please?
Yeah, we're tired.
Yeah. We're trying to sleep. It's just like in our castle. Could you just keep it down? That's okay. So you didn't come away with an extra bunny then?
No, not yet. Not yet. If I hear a screech of tyres out, then I wonder if Ali will be going on that direction now, but yes.
Yeah. I heard him say I could have one as she disappears out the door. Superb. Well, it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks since we got, so it's good to kind of it's good to pod with you. I think while we're away, kind of in between while we're away, I had my birthday, which was good fun.
Yes, happy returns again.
Thank you very much, sir. I had a really cool, the coolest thing about my birthday, apart from cake for breakfast, which is obviously always a good thing, was that we went up to Gloucester. So we kind of went to Gloucester to stay. Nicola just hired a really cool hotel. We got a room in this really cool hotel, very Hogwarts like hotel. It was absolutely superb. And so we were going to Gloucester and Bath and Bristol, and that's kind of where we were hanging out. And so while we were away, what we decided to do was that we would hire a Tesla.
Nice.
So
nice.
I have an absolute fondness for kind of Teslas and everything that Elon Musk does, really. So while we were kind of at Blue Water, our local shopping mall, they have a Tesla store, and I just said to Nicola, I wonder if you can rent these, because it would be really cool just to rent it for the weekend for my birthday. And I found out you can rent Teslas, so I found a company online, which was really cool. Quick Google, and I was like, yes, you can, and these guys are cool. So they had an S, and which is the smaller of the two, and they had an X. So I went for the X, obviously.
Is this where Microsoft got their naming conventions from?
I think it was. I think it really, it's like S, X, and that's it. And it's just, I think everyone, it was really funny because I was saying that, it was like, Nicola was like, everything's X. Like, you've got your iPhone and your Xbox and now the car outside, and it was just,
oh, God, yes, and the iPhone S as well, wasn't there?
Exactly, yeah. iPhone S and then iPhone X, which is the one at the moment.
What? I feel I need to Google why we only sit on these 2 letters. But yeah. So which one is this? The gull-wing one that I saw?
Yes. So this is the one with the falcon wings, which is the correct. So it says on the dashboard.
We're not going to trouble ourselves with common garden gulls.
No, it's no gull wing. This is a falcon wing. So yes, it's a ginormous 7-seater tank is all I can say. And the funniest thing was, like, the guy they turned up and they sent you a message saying your Tesla X is outside, Mr. Chesson. So I kind of walked out and he gave me the whole kind of rigmarole of what to do, all of the settings, and then he left and I said, do you want me to take you to the station? He was like, no, I need to get my steps up, so I'll walk. So off he went. And then I had to drive it down my road, and because obviously I live in Tunwells and it's a very tight little road around town, I was going up my road and I was so scared because all of the sensors in the car were just going off. You know, they're all red and beeping very loudly. So I was slowly crawling up my road. But once we did that, we were out and this car was absolutely incredible. The car was it was fantastic. It was so quiet. It was so fast. When I put it into ludicrous mode, it was incredibly fast. It drove itself down a motorway, and it was so funny. We were in Bristol. This is. It's typical me. We were in Bristol and so I said, right, take me to the barbecue. There was a barbecue place in Bristol that we wanted to go to, Spitfire Barbecue. Highly recommend it because it's absolutely fantastic. And so we went there. So I navigated there and there was a car park nearby, which was an underground car park. So I went down into the car park, and this car is just so big that it just starts beeping instantly. And I went to go through one of the barriers, and I got kind of a little bit stuck. So I was like, that's a bit of a tight left turn, so I'll just reverse a little bit and then take the other one. As I did, the sensors started going off again, and I just thought, I'm going to be on Reddit. I'm going to be, Tesla man crying in a car park because he can't come off this car. So, embarrassingly, Nicola got out of the car and walked me through these barriers.
She's there with a red flag in front, just escorting you away.
She was like, over, and then she walked me, and then we found a spot because this car was, I've got a tiny 2-seater car at the moment, and this is a ginormous car. So we found a spot that I could park in, and I was parking it, and Nicola was like going left and right and shouting at me, and suddenly I think the car got bored because it went, would you like me to park? And I was like, yes, what? And I just pressed this button, and then the car just literally, the steering wheel span the opposite way, and the car just lurched forward and then just parked itself in this tight spot.
I've seen this on adverts. Like, this is the thing that freaks me out about the future. Like, I don't know if I'd trust it to park. Like, parallel or just straight in. There's just too many unknowns, and I know you're a machine and very intelligent and can obviously see I'm panicking, but just having the faith that pressing this single button will do it all and not just write off 2 cars either side of you.
I just sat back, I pressed it, and I sat back, and Nicola just, the look of horror on her face. And when I got out, she just said, you're too trusting on technology. You trust, because you're right, because this thing, it went the other way, lurched forward, moved, and then just parked itself. And I'm sitting there going, yes! But Nicola's like, oh my God, we could have written off this car. It was just, but it was so, but the car itself was amazing. It was whisper quiet. The charging was not a problem at all. Charging in the Tesla superchargers was not a problem at all. We went on the way to somewhere, I think it was Bath or Bristol, we went to pop into the Apple store because I wanted to look at the HomePods, and while we were there, they just said, oh, there's a Tesla supercharger. It comes up on the screen, they're both empty, both bays are empty, do you want to park? And I just plugged the car in while we went in, grabbed a coffee, checked out the Apple store, and then an hour later the app pings and just says, your car is fully charged. And it was so cool. Got nice little waves from fellow Tesla drivers, which is really cool. But the one scary thing was on the way home, which was on my birthday. On the way home, we went to Heston Blumenthal's pub in Bray.
Oh, nice.
So we popped there for like some birthday noms, and then so I said, right, we were going to go and see The Post at Blue Water. So I said, right, fine, let's go to Blue Water, recliners, and kind of like just watch a movie in the evening. And it said, I can get you to Blue Water, but you're going to have 4% battery left. And also, I need you to drive below 65 miles an hour. And that suddenly I was like, oh, but the good thing was it was 3:30, 4 o'clock on the M25, so I was only going 50 miles an hour anyway. And all of the braking that the car was doing was actually recharging the battery, because by the time I got to Blue Water, I was at 10%. But still, when it got to 10%, it's like your phone. When your phone gets to 10% and it goes red on your little battery bar, you panic. And there's nothing I can do. I can't plug one of my USB chargers into it or anything like that. So I did, as much as I absolutely love it, and it just, all it made me do is want a Tesla now. But and it didn't seem like a problem, but there was that one bit where it was just a little bit scary.
I mean, at that point, were you just like, no, Nicola, turn the radio off, turn the heating off, put the air conditioning on silence. We're just running quiet. If there's a hill, we're going rolling. In neutral.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said, because there's actually a mode where, like your phone, it will say you've got 3% left, you want to go into energy saving, and you say yes, and it's like, so it was still saying, it was like, you've got 30 miles until your destination, I can do 60 miles on what you've got. So but it was still just, obviously, this, if that was my car, I was only on day 3 of owning it, so all of those quirks were unknown to me. But it was so much fun. It was just so much fun. The self-driving, everything was just awesome. So, and I begrudgingly gave it back a couple of days later.
Just having to pull the keys out of your hand.
Yes. And that was cool. The key was actually shaped like a Tesla as well. So it was like a Tesla-shaped key. And then as you walked up to the car, the door just popped open. And it was all like, hello, sir. It was just like, after you. And it was so lovely. And like I say, the Falcon Wing or the Gold Wing doors were just lovely. When I couldn't stop just opening them, just to put my coat in the back of the car. I would open the door because it just looked awesome every time. But it was just like, I absolutely fell in love with it. And Nicola, the great thing about it was it did dispel the myths that she had in her head about owning electric cars and the problems associated with it. So it was really cool. It was absolutely fantastic.
Nice. We honestly considered getting an electric car last time we swapped cars a couple of years ago, but unfortunately where we live, there's no specific driveway with a electric port that we could put next to it.
Right.
Because especially the type of journeys I do, because it's only 20 minutes to work or so. It's like a short little hop there, short little hop back. It'd be perfect rather than running a petrol one the entire way. But there's still just a real. It's just a bit of a price hike, isn't it? Just to even get a small run around. I think in the UK when we were looking, it was still 35 grand minimum at that point in time. So, and I shudder to think what the X is like. I think.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No. I know though, because there's a load of people at work who have pre-ordered the. Oh, is it an S? No, what's the family one? Model 3. Model 3.
A 3. Yeah.
They've run out of letters. They've done S. They've done X. What's left? I know there's a load of people who've pre-ordered that just to try and get onto that modest end of the electric spectrum, but I think it needs to come down in price before I jump on board.
Yes, I mean, that was it. The moment I got back, the moment I got home, that was it. I was just, I mean, I think there's just two of us. Having the X is just too big, It was just.
You say 7-seater is too much.
Yeah, 7-seater is just way too much, even for all my shopping. And the funniest thing is the one thing that you really have to watch out on is a zebra crossing, because we almost took out a couple of people. They can't hear you coming.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
Ginormous, great big white tank, but they don't hear you coming. I was driving when we checked out the hotel. We had the suitcases, and I said to Nicola, stay there. It was a bit muddy, so you do the summon mode where the car just comes to you unassisted, and then so you press a button on the app and it just rolls to where that phone is, and then so I drove there, and as I was driving, these two guys kind of got out of their car and they were walking under the arch to get to the front of the hotel, and I was behind them, stealthily creeping, and they didn't know I was there, because one of them turned around and jumped when they saw this big white car that was behind them. That's how kind of quiet it was. It was like a stealth mission in Metal Gear. It was just so cool. It looked like a stormtrooper, but it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. As you can tell,
yes, yeah.
Yeah. It replaced Nicola as my lock screen picture on my iPhone. So no, it hasn't. I've put her back. So that was my week. So kind of that, and also went to see Black Panther as well.
Oh yes. How is it? Is it as good as everyone says?
It's a good film. I think at the moment I'm going through from my countdown to Infinity War, and And at the moment, it's kind of in there. So what I do after every movie, I'm then rating that movie and moving them around in the Letterboxd app that I have. So it's definitely kind of, it's there. It's at the moment, it's in my top 4. But I'm sure a couple of other movies.
And this is just the top 4 Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, not movies of all time. This is just MCU movies. So far, I'm just looking on my app now, I'm up to Iron Man 3 at the moment, and so I'm saying that Black Panther is better than Thor and Iron Man 2 and the Hulk, which is no mean feat. But it's a really good film. It's a really good film. It's an incredible superhero movie. It's definitely going to end up in my top 10. And it looks spectacular. We sat there in our new favourite cinema that's surpassed the IMAX, the X Plus, and it's just stunning. It was absolutely fantastic. The Dolby Atmos soundtrack is amazing, and there's just some really good bits in it, and it leads, without spoiling, but it leads nicely. We're ready for Infinity War now.
Because is Infinity War the next one?
Yes, April.
Okay. Oh wow, that's soon.
April.
I always assumed it was just going to be the summer, like big summer blockbuster. But
no, it's April. So yeah, though I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so it's a really good movie. It's absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. The standout person for me was Black Panther's sister, the princess. She was absolutely fantastic. She was such a great actress, and she's a British actress. I'm just trying to find her. She was in things like Black Mirror. She was also in Humans on, I think, which was on Channel 4, wasn't it? And sort of Banana and things like that. A lot of kind of Channel 4 programs. So her name is Letita Wright, and for me, she's just amazing. She's just absolutely fantastic. She just, whenever she was on screen, she just stole the movie. She was like Anne Hathaway in Dark Knight Returns. She was that kind of scene stealing where you were just like, this girl is incredible. And if they follow the comic book, will one day become the Black Panther.
That's quite a few movies down the line, I'm guessing.
Yeah. We'll call that Wave 10. that's when Marvel are scraping the barrel, when Disney just don't have any more money, But yeah, so it's just she's so good, and she's almost like a Q. She's she makes gadgets, she builds all these gadgets, and she's just absolutely superb. She's very cool. So that was me kind of rambling on about my week. How was your week?
It's been, well, to be honest, the last couple of weeks, we're getting towards deadline time with Sea of Thieves, so there's always the shadow in the background, so a few extra hours have been spent in the office just trying to polish that up, and so it means that most of the weekends I've been just trying to do nothing. Just trying to relax, to recuperate. And as we said before we started recording, I was actually quite grateful the other week when one of our friends cancelled. It was like, oh, thank goodness. In that very British way. It's like, oh, thank goodness. I got another evening to myself. But this weekend, Ali and I basically went on a date that we probably should have been on when we were 14. We went to the cinema and then we went to the arcade. It was one of those
awesome.
Like proper cheesy ones. But we went off to explore Resorts World, which is by the NEC near Birmingham.
Right.
And because someone had told me there was a special arcade machine there, but we will get to that shortly. And we went to see Coco. We had a look down the list, and it was a toss-up between Early Man, because we really like the Aardman animations, and Coco. But we thought, Coco's probably going to leave the cinema first. And it was amazing. It really was amazing. Like I've started to doubt Pixar more and more, and I think they sowed the first seeds of doubt with Cars 2, which was just an absolute straight-to-video train wreck in my mind. And since then, they've had things like The Good Dinosaur. It was okay, but it wasn't Pixar. And I think recently I've been far too concerned about how many sequels they've been pumping out. Like, do we need a Toy Story 4? What's left to say in Toy Story?
Yes.
So I've been getting a bit worried about their output. Are they just going for the easy wins? Has that Disney machine just finally taken them over? But Coco, it broke my eyes towards the end. Like it's
oh no,
it was absolutely fabulous. Like anyone who can get a chance to see it, I do recommend going to see it, because it does have that double impact. I think of it's just a really good film for kids, but then it has some really emotional, powerful messages. I think for grown-ups as well as the usual humour. But yeah, we went Saturday afternoon, and you could hear the mum behind us just trying to not necessarily narrate for her younger daughter. It was, code breaking, but it was absolutely fine. You could see why she was doing it, just trying to reassure her that everything was going to be all right, and it was all fine. Yes, but this is a happy kind of sad, that sort of thing. And you could hear the mum just like obviously choking back a tear or two at the end. But absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I think it kind of came out. Did it come out at Christmas?
Yeah,
come out at
I
Christmas,
think so. Yeah,
yes. And we just haven't. I think Nicola's was ill, so we never got times to go to the cinema to see it. So now I'm kind of holding out now for the 4K Blu-ray, which I'm pretty sure that's got a 4K Blu, which is a really good thing for a Pixar to do, 4K HDR, especially from the look of this movie, because it just looks incredible, looks stunning.
Yeah.
The movie. So.
I think it's going to be one of those as well that really pops in HDR as well, because the vibrancy of the colour. For anyone who doesn't know Coco, it's based in Mexico and is very much centred around the Day of the Dead. And the vibrancy of the colours that you get in the, I guess you'd call it the afterlife, where some of the story takes place, is superb. Just fluorescence and the way the skulls of all the departed people are painted. They have taken a festival and made it into a city, effectively. It's superb. Because I was wondering how they were going to make a city of skeletons actually quite unique, but you can see almost that candy skull approach, that loops and flowers and just curls actually painted onto all the skulls to make them unique, as if they were their own hairstyles and what have you. But yeah, that is going to be a treat for your UHDs.
Absolutely. It sounds incredible. Like I say, it was one that I wanted to see at the cinema. It definitely sounded like a really good Pixar movie. I mean, you say about sequels, and they have just been kind of knocking out kind of sequels. I'm quite excited. Did you get a trailer for Incredibles 2?
I did.
Yes.
Incredibles is a weird one, because I didn't actually like it the first time I saw it.
Oh, really?
But then I've seen it a couple of times since, and it has grown on me. I think because I went in expecting a certain type of superhero movie. And this was before I was fatigued of people with capes. I was a little... I went in expecting one thing, but now I know what it is. I really enjoy for what it is.
It's almost like a Pixar version of Watchmen. It's so close. It's so close to Watchmen, but with families. Yeah. It's such a great movie. I love that. But I'm really looking forward to the trailer. They brought out a new trailer recently, which kind of gives you a little bit more kind of story, and that's it for me now. I don't want to know any more. They've already got my money. I think similar to you, we kind of learned from our mistake of Cars 3. We're going to go in the evening. We're going to go very late in the evening to watch Incredibles, so we can just, after our Cars 3 kind of escapade with kids running around the cinema, exciting, so it's just, we'll let them do that in the day, we'll go in the evening, we'll go
this is
grown
up
10
time,
o'clock. Yes, exactly. Get a recliner, go at 10 o'clock and just enjoy it.
But again, from the trailer that we saw for Incredibles, I like the approach they're taking. It's like, they've got the superhero background, but the fact you've almost got this enforced stay-at-home dad while the mum then goes off to be the superhero, when he was the one that was in the limelight before. It's like, this is great. Again, like, these are the types of Pixar films I want to see, the ones where they're trying to tackle interesting subjects but in like safe environments.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Though it's going to be an interesting one, and I think that's coming out. Is that coming out? That's coming out in the summer, isn't it?
I don't. Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, they've just... You could tell me there's 57 before the end of the year, and I would well and truly believe you.
I convinced Nicola that we're going to go and see Ready Player One and Pacific Rim in the same day, and I'm just like, which is just over at Easter, which is kind of the end of the Easter weekend, and I don't think our eyeballs are going to be the same after that. One day, Pacific Rim and Ready Player One. That's just going to be...
That's shaken to your very core by the sound system, I'm guessing, with that one.
We're just like, so do one really early, have some lunch, go to the next one. That would just be never sleep for the rest of the weekend. But anyway, so that's what we've been up to. James, what have you been playing over the last couple of weeks?
Yes, well, the other reason we went to Resorts World by the NEC was to track down a certain machine that I think you put me onto in the first place.
Yes.
Because during your jaunt to Gloucester, you sent me a picture of a Luigi's Mansion arcade machine, something I did not know even existed.
I can't believe this. It's bizarre.
Well, we started googling after we found out about it. It was only released in like 2015, if I'm right.
Really?
So it's I'm blown away with how wonderful it was, because for anyone who doesn't know Luigi's Mansion, like Luigi, the best of the Mario Brothers, is basically inherits a haunted mansion, and he has to go around and hoover up the ghosts that live in it, so he can have it as his own. But they've managed to convert it really nicely to the arcade system, because rather than just being a straight shooter, like, because we played the Jurassic Park game when we were there as well, and it's basically just machine guns mounted on a Jeep, in classic Jurassic Park style. But rather than just being a straight-out shooter, it's got this really nice mechanism, because you have a physical vacuum. You have the physical Poltergust 3000 that you can wave around, and you aim it at the screen, and it is your light gun. But you have to do the actions of the game itself, where you have a button where you have to stun the ghosts with a flash of light. Then a trigger which activates the hoover that you then have to try and pull them up Ghostbusters style in as they fight against the pull of it. And I was taken aback with how nice it was as just this tactile physical thing as you were doing it, because I just imagined when I saw the machine it was just it's just going to be a shoot 'em up, but except it's a hoover 'em up or something like that. But that extra little depth to it works so well, because if you're being faced with 3 or 4 different ghosts that are coming to try and slap you or scare you out of the house, you have to flash the your torch at them, then flick to another one, flash again. It's like a resource management thing, because you have to balance how quickly your light revamps, and then try and take health off each of them as you hoover them up. It just really took. I must have put like 15 quid into this thing. I was just delighted with it all.
You're just looking at Ali going, more money please, more money. Was she playing with you as well? Were you two-player?
So this is the gutting thing.
Like, there's only one person in Luigi's Mansion, and it's me.
The machine in the arcade we went to, only player 1 was working.
Oh no.
So Ali's job for the entire thing was to fund me. It's like, please take this card and just tap it on this contactless payment every time I need a new token.
There was contactless payment?
Yeah, the arcade there has basically like a top-up system. So they give you a fake debit card, I guess, and then you can just go up and... I think it was like 4.3 credits to play Luigi's Mansion. So it's like going abroad. It's funny money. It doesn't count.
It doesn't count. You don't know. It doesn't have a pound sign. But it's so cool, because when you grab a ghost, it almost feels like you can feel the pull. Yeah. It just feels so, like I say, it's so tactile that you actually do, as you're kind of trying to pull it, it almost like you feel that there's something there, that you have actually kind of hooked onto something. And it was so much fun. So did you finish it? Did you go all the way through?
I was within one room of the end when my cash ran out. But most of that, I think, was the first half of the cash was pretty much spent trying to get used to that, like stun and move mechanic with it all. But it was, I honestly, like, if I have a day off later in the year, I will probably go back and give that another go. I enjoyed it so much. But going back to the tactile thing, when you sucked the coins out of the hidden areas, do you remember there was a giant clunk?
Yes.
Oh, it's just brilliant. Like,
it feels so good.
As long as the force feedback when you're trying to absorb the ghost into the poltergust, every time you suck up a giant coin, which is the points for the level, there's a massive, I don't know, the clunk that happens. There's some machinery that is designed to go clunk, so you feel like you have sucked up something with the vacuum, but. And
you can imagine when they're designing it, they're like, we need more clunk. We need to up the clunk a little bit. But there's also, because you get that normal, gorgeous Mario sound that you've just collected a coin, followed by that tactile clunk at the same time. That was, I think, kind of one of the biggest smiles on my face was when that happened. And then so as soon as you went into a room, because Nicole and I were playing 2-player, you instantly just wanted to find the coins first.
Yeah.
It was just like, I want that clunk. You were just, I just want that. It was so good.
I can imagine it being good in 2-player for that, because not only are you trying to defend each other, but then it's a race for the cash.
Yes,
so.
I did almost hit Nicola once with the Hoover because I gestured just so hard to just get this ghost, and I almost whacked her in the face with it, which was really cool. So that kind of, we had a moment where I was, I had to calm down. But apart from that, it was just so good. But it was just such a great. I guess your mind kind of instantly wanders to like Labo, and which we were talking about before, which was like. A Labo Luigi's mentioned, but having just that game on the Switch with Labo could work.
Yeah. I think that kind of game would actually even work if you just use the motion controls of one or two of the Joy-Cons, because it is a unique game as well. It's not like a rip-off of the 3DS, as far as I can tell. I think it might be based on some of the 3DS assets, but it's its own thing, own bosses, own different levels. But yeah, it's the nearest I've felt to a Ghostbuster as well my entire life.
Yes, you just wanted that pack on your back. If you could have had that, if you could have worn that Hoover in that little arcade cabinet, you would have just been happy.
Yeah. Oh,
but it was
so worth hunting it down. I have to thank Scott at work for giving me a tip that he'd seen one in a previous weekend and said, "Oh, you might want to pop along." So.
I like how this game was just circling around you, that you didn't know about it until there was a couple of people who went, "Oh yeah, we've got one here. And then suddenly you're like, I need to find this.
Yeah, we did look at how much it was to buy as well, and oh
really?
Yeah. I think 2 of those you could be able to get a Tesla. It's
Oh really? Wow. But I'm surprised that there's other arcade machines, isn't there? There's other Nintendo arcade machines. There's a Mario Kart one, isn't there? There's a Mario Kart one and a Mario Kart VR as well. Is
that the one that's in Japan that we spoke about a few months back? I think.
Yeah. So there's that, but I like the idea of just a Mario Kart. Sit down, almost like Daytona racing, but cars.
That was right next to Luigi's Mansion, except I'd spent all my pocket money by the time I came off it. So.
They had one.
Yeah, they had it, and I was staring at it because it's different courses to the ones that I've seen before. So I was like, part of me thought I should have rationed the coins, but actually no, I spent it wisely.
No, you spent that wisely. You needed to enjoy. You needed some time being Luigi. You were good. That's that's so cool. Wow, the only time I've ever seen it, I think, was in a service station, like a motorway service station. The last thing you want to do when you're driving is then go and play a driving game. So I think I went, that looks really good, and then just went and got a coffee. But that's so cool. And where was the place that you went?
So this was, I think it was called Vortex, within one of the, I can't remember, what's it called? I think it's Resorts World near the NEC.
Right.
But yeah, they had a modest size arcade there as well. A bit of a Jurassic Park shooting thing, a few other things. Not particularly impressive, but it's, if I'm going for the cinema, it's worth popping in.
Yes. I was just thinking of EGX. When we go to EGX,
yes,
we could have some time in the arcade.
I can't remember if it was 4-player Mario Kart. That would
Oh my God, that we would just be like, right, this is ours for the evening, please.
Cordon off, top the cards up, garçon.
Yeah, we've got this. Instead of put a coin, we all just put top-up cards on the machine. Yeah. So, have you been playing anything else at home?
Yes, away from. That's game of the year right now. But I have been persisting with Monster Hunter.
Right.
I think I got that the day after Super Bowl because I had the day off, and after everyone had left, I just thought I need something new. I need something that I can try and get my teeth into because this post-Christmas lull, I've got to get a couple of games playing with Ali along the side, but I need something for myself. So downloaded Monster Hunter. Promptly spent about half an hour trying to create a character. Not myself, I pretty much took a pre-made one. I tried to recreate Berry, my rabbit, as the Palico cat.
Right.
So got to try and get those colours right before I set off. And I think Monster Hunter isn't for me.
No.
I'm very glad I tried it. I've probably put about 10 hours into it, so I know it's not massively long in the grand scheme of things, but it's given me enough of a flavour about what the series is like that I've answered that question that has been floating around my mind when these have come out on previous platforms. But let's start with the positives, because I really like what they try to do. Like, I can really see why other people like this game. You can see there's an absolute depth to the combat, the fact you've got so many different weapons to try, different styles to pull from, and just the different approaches that you can take into combat. I really like that idea. It almost seems like a very hardcore version of Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, you have... Horizon Zero Dawn is like a far more accessible thing, where you can go and take down these large monsters within 45 minutes. But there's something really meaty about going on a literal hunt to try and track down your monsters, put down some traps, maybe lure the monster you want to try and do to an area where there are natural traps as well. So there's all these lures for the player to try and get deeper and to try and just explore every avenue the designers have put in there. But where it falls down for me is honestly like the battling the giant monsters. Most of them seem the same. I mean, they all look different. They all apparently behave differently. But when you actually get down to the meat of the battle, for 10 hours, I pretty much just rolled out the way when it looked like it was trying to attack me, then hit it with a stick a bit. And then I rolled out the way, hit it with a stick again. And it just wasn't that engaging for how long the fights took. I think I had the same problem with Gears of War when it first came out. Like, I'd come from Halo, where I thought the combat was, it wasn't fast, but you had options, you had ways to take out enemies in an interesting way with like different weapon combinations. And moving to Gears of War, everything felt like a bullet sponge. Everything felt like you just had to throw as many pieces of shrapnel into that git until he fell down as possible. And the Monster Hunter has that same sort of grating feeling that it's just waiting to go and just take all your health in one big swipe, whereas in return you have to spend 20 minutes attacking it time and time again. And in some situations that's been fine, it's been fun, but I've reached my limit. I don't, the draw of getting new armor, of getting new weapons, of getting better, of trying new traps, that just isn't enough to offset the half an hour's fight. And I think what really did it for me was like the penultimate one I did, I ended up fainting 3 times because I tried to go after something that was too big because I thought, why not? If I'm running out of patience with this, let's at least go and try and get a big prize.
Let's go big.
Yeah, but when you spend so long and then get so little from it, it's like, yeah, it's the risk and reward, but that was pretty much me signing off at that point. So I liked what I saw. I can see why people like it, but I'm gonna leave before I dislike it.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree because I rented mine from Boomerang. I rented my copy from Boomerang and was playing it on the Xbox One X, and I think it was enhanced on the X. I think it was either because you could get to choose, couldn't you? You could do cinematic or frame rate, and it looked great. And exactly the same where I was in a battle, it was taking forever to take it out, and then I got killed instantly, and I was like, no, this isn't for me. And the same as you, I respect this game. I think it's a great looking game. I can see why people are going crazy for it, but that's not for me. That's not the game that's for me. I mean, I'm used to piling in and spending a lot of time on kind of end of level bosses. I've played a lot of Borderlands and things like that, so you're used to those kind of big bosses that do take a while to go down. But it was just no. I was just like no, and it was. I don't know whether it's because I was playing on my own, and I wanted that to be more of a group or something. But I was just like, no, this isn't for me. And I think similar to you, I was like, I checked out a lot earlier than you did, but I just was like, no, I respect you, but you're going back. Yeah. That's it. It's you're going back.
I think a few people have actually tried to persuade me back by saying no, you should try it in multiplayer. It's far better. I've no doubt it is better in multiplayer because I've played a lot of bad games that are better in multiplayer. And not saying this is a bad game, but like multiplayer makes anything a few notches greater. But when I don't want to do the thing that I'm doing, that's the core of it. It's not who I'm doing it with, but. Yeah, to be honest, it's the kind of thing I reckon that if you were really high level where you've got more options or just have persisted through this hump and, know the ins and outs, then maybe you could set up some really nice tactics in multiplayer, but I don't have the time or the patience to get to that level.
Yes, and you're right. I guess it's kind of one of those games where if you jump in and go, this is just hooking me, you weren't expecting it. You maybe haven't played Monster Hunter because previously a lot of it was on handheld, wasn't it? Whether a DS or
I think the last
Vita
three,
like
DS and Vitas,
But imagine doing that on a Vita for like kind of half an hour, taking down. You go to take it out, and then your battery runs out or something.
3 charges on standby. Just
it's like, damn it! But if it hooks you and you get into it, and because it was quite deep straight away, even through the tutorial, like leveling up items and doing it. Just I think there was a podcast I was listening to where they're kind of their one hint going into the game was read all of everything that comes up in that tutorial. Make sure you read it. So, and I did. I was like, right, I'm ready to get in. I'm ready to go big on Monster Hunter, but it just didn't. It didn't hook. It didn't hook.
It's a shame because I did see some like really nice parts of the wild. I think one of my favourite aspects was when I was chasing a monster through the undergrowth, and then it happened upon another monster, and
oh wow.
It looked like there were proper animations considered between the two. Like, if A meets B, then there will be a proper fight, not a Pokemon slashing from afar, and like one literally wrapped itself around the other, and you could see there was constriction. It looked really impressive. And another time, like 3 giant monsters sort of got in each other's way, and one ran off. One decided to kill me. It's like, there's 2 of the big dudes. Why? So there were flashes in moments, but it almost felt like I'd have preferred just to watch it from afar. I don't know, like a SimCity, like a Pinata, where you just get to watch a garden or a city or just something you've created unfold and just see what chaos theory does to your creation.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that could be similar to that Jurassic Park game that's coming out soon, isn't it? I haven't heard about that for a while, but that was kind of one of the ones I'm definitely kind of looking forward to. Where it's like Jurassic Park Evolution or something.
I think so. Yeah, I've got a couple of friends who are over there working, and they keep tweeting stuff out that's keeping me informed. It's like the Dino of the Week.
Yes.
Except they started with the
Twitter that has Dino of the Week.
Except they started with the Triceratops, and it's like, you've peaked already. It's downhill from here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that for that very reason. Like trying to see what's even if it goes wrong, I want to see what happens when the Tyrannosaur just breaks into the Patasaur's paddock or something like that. Yeah, just watch it unfold.
Well, it's okay because all you got to do is just turn off the power and then turn the power back on one by one, and then you're sorted. Whatever you need in that game, that's what you do.
Yeah,
it's done. It's sorted.
IT 101.
But it's no, I can't wait for that. So anything else been hitting your consoles?
Yeah. After I resigned myself to leaving Monster Hunter, I decided to have something a bit more pick up and play, a bit more instant gratification. So I've gone back to Rocket League. We had a games night at work the other week, and first time I played Rocket League in about 6 months, and I just forgotten how much I enjoyed that. I mean, 6 months, my actual ability to play was near zero at that point in time. The first game we all had at work was like going, how do you flip again? What's the jump button? No, that's handbrake, not boost. It was just like a comedy of errors. It was the worst game that anyone has ever seen. But I've been playing over the last couple of nights here and there, and it's just that classic one more game. Just one more game. Because they only take 5-10 minutes each match, and so you can easily squeeze a few in. But yeah, it's just returning to old safe pastures. It's good stuff.
Yes, indeed. Have you been jumping in with randos, or have you been like playing offline or like single player? Or
it's one of the few games that I really don't mind playing competitive with, because I turn off voice chat, I turn off text chat, and I turn off like the quick menu chats, because never has Great Save been used so sarcastically so often to the point where I just want to hurl a controller. So it's, for me, I might as well just be playing against really good AI. But I tend to play in the ranked matches over there because I think that's where you get the most consistent experience. Like playing like the free hoppers, you just get people dropping in left, right, and centre, and it's never feels like a good game. It just feels like a playground brawl. Whereas the ranked is short, sharp, and sweet. And I think actually there's so many players you feel like you can meet your level quite quickly.
Right. Well, that sounds really cool. Yeah. Are you playing that on PlayStation or?
Back on Xbox.
Right.
Started on PlayStation, moved to PC. Yes. Now I'm trying to get all the achievements on Xbox. So it's.
Excellent. I like that. Yeah. So have you got all the trophies on the PlayStation? Did you get all of those?
Yeah, before they released the first DLC, I think I platinumed the first one. Now I think they've doubled. I think there's like 1900 gamer score to get on the Xbox version. So
wow.
I think it's going to take a while.
Yes, but it's a good while. That's a good. That's a
yeah.
good grind. Yes, absolutely, superb, excellent stuff.
How about yourself? Have you been playing much this week?
Well, I've been kind of dabbling. I've been kind of jumping in and out of games at the moment. I'm trying to. Nicola is playing. She's playing Mario Rabbids again, actually, and Picross as well. Which thank you for that, because that was a really good recommend.
Oh,
and she's
good.
absolutely loving it. Yeah, it's like at the end of every level, she's like, "What is that? What is that? Oh, it's socks. It's socks." You know, and it's just
a brilliant 5-second guessing window, isn't it?
Yes, it's like what do you think that is? And then suddenly it comes up. But no, I mean, she's absolutely loving that. So that was a really good recommend. Thank you very much. So I've been relegated to the smaller TV and just I've been jumping in and out of stuff. I'm trying to get hooked into Assassin's Creed, but I'm trying to save that for when I'm on the HDR and 4K rather than kind of on a smaller TV, because it is just so gorgeous, you know. So I've been trying to jumping in and out. But what I did play was I played some Crazy Taxi. So Crazy Taxi came out on Xbox Games with Gold. It's currently available on Games with Gold. In February. So I was playing some Crazy Taxi, and I really enjoyed that game. I had the soundtrack going full blast in my headphones and just enjoying it. I was playing it in arcade mode, which is the one where you have to then just get someone, deliver them, and you've got a countdown clock, and then the clock will then just replenish when you get someone else. And I was just, the bonkersness of that was just, it just made me smile again. It just really made me kind of just love and just want to get my Dreamcast out, and it just took me back to good times. But yeah, no, I was really enjoying it. It looks okay, you know, but it plays amazing. You know, I forgot how crazy the controls were for the car, because it's so loose, and you're spinning and drifting around corners.
It's the fact to turn around on a corner, you basically just floor it, don't you? But turn the wheel, and it doesn't get traction for a moment.
Like, occasionally you'll put your foot down too soon, and you'll just be trying to pull away, but the car's not moving anywhere, and you're like, damn it, I've lost that 1 second, which is crucial, you know. And so it's great fun. So there's lots of different modes that are available. There's arcade, there's original, there's play for 10 minutes. But I'm just loving this kind of rinse and repeat of the arcade mode. There's even leaderboards as well, which are active, so which is quite cool. So but it's just great fun. It's just really is good fun.
Yeah, I downloaded it, I think, after last time we spoke, as soon as it came free, and it does take me back to the arcade, because I'm sure the arcade controls were just as loose, should we say? Because I think it's got just one big spinny wheel and then a gear shift stick for reverse or forwards or what have you, isn't it? And that's what always catches me out. I keep forgetting that like B isn't handbrake or something. I have to swap the gear to actually go backwards, and then just wonder what's careering reverse.
I had that once. I got caught on a bridge, and I was like, I need to reverse, and I was like, how do I do it? I'm just screaming at the TV because I completely forgot. And you're right, you instantly are pressing like RT or LT or just another button to reverse, and no, got to put it in gear and then reverse. And it was great fun. I still keep, whether I'm listening to a podcast or just playing for a little while, I'm just jumping into Crazy Taxi to just have a quick go. I've started playing. It's quite funny because that did lead me on to playing more Forza 7. So I've been playing more Forza Motorsport 7.
The two extremes.
Exactly, you can't play like that. It's just, it's really funny because you do go from Crazy Taxi to this, and you kind of forget to brake, and you just instantly just slam into a wall, and it's just like, no, I'm not playing that game anymore. The two things that I've found is that A, you kind of don't play it like Crazy Taxi, obviously, and B, you don't listen to the Baby Driver soundtrack while I was trying to play Forza Motorsport 7, because it just puts you completely off. The opening track just is too awesome to kind of drive, because you're trying to drive like that and you instantly are just spinning off. But and that's the thing I think with me and Forza, is just that I'll play it a lot when it first comes out, but then I do just like jumping back in for like, I'll just do one of those 6 races, I'll just do a championship now, or even just do a quick race, and that's just, and I always I think I just keep doing that until the next Forza comes out, and then I would just continue to play it. So I've just been enjoying this Crazy Taxi Forza hybrid.
It's always nice to have a safety blanket though, isn't it? And I mean that in the nicest respect, like, because I think last year that's what Hitman was for me. Just something that you know you're going to enjoy, something that you feel very comfortable in, that you know all the mechanics, and you don't. I get, almost the flip side to Monster Hunter, where there isn't that ramp up, where you just need something intrinsically and can just go and enjoy that sandbox, that track, that lap.
Yes, yeah. I think you're absolutely spot on. I think that's exactly it. That is that comfort blanket while I'm just listening to a podcast or Nicola's playing for a while, so I just need to, do something, and that's exactly it. So, yeah. So I've been playing that, and then yesterday I had a trip up to Manchester. So yesterday I downloaded Faye for the Switch.
Yeah.
So so it's on Xbox, it's on PS4 as well, but I downloaded it for the Switch. I thought I'm going Night of the Woods. Exactly what you and Manny said is I haven't finished it. I need to finish it because I love this game, but it's overstayed its welcome. It's wrap up now, guys. I'm done. I'm just like, yep, I'm done. If this was episodic, I probably wouldn't go back. But I do want to know what finished because I do just love playing that game. But I'm almost playing it a bit like Stardew Valley now, where I'm playing a day at a time. So I just play a day and then I'll go and do something else, and then come back and play another day. But I like it. I love the art style. I love you guys were spot on with the communication and the way that they chat and the way they talk. It's just so realistic and it's just so true.
Just so natural, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. It's fantastic. And my favourite thing, I think I did tweet it out, but my favourite thing is coming down every morning and just talking to your mum.
Yes.
It's just lovely, just jumping up on the countertop and just chatting. And I just love those little chats. They don't really go anywhere, and I'm sure they will later, but they don't. It's lovely. It's just this nice little backwards and forward, very nice flow to the conversation, and then you just off you go, off you pop for the rest of the day. But back to Faye. So I've been playing Faye, and what Faye is a 3D puzzle platform game which has an art style very similar to, I guess to be lazy, very similar to Ori and the Blind Forest. Mm-hmm. So it's very kind of like my lazy kind of interpretation of it, but it reminds me it could easily be a Ori spin-off, because it looks like that, and you play this tiny little character called Faye, and you play this little animal, and you go around the world, and when you come across other animals, you can communicate with them if you're leveled up enough. I've just leveled up to be a bird, so I can now communicate with those. So the first one is a deer, and then you go up to the deer and you chime, because there's no speech in this game, so you chime, the deer chimes, and then you connect, your waves connect, and then you have to, I've got tilt controls on the Switch, so you can have just the right thumbstick, and I guess that's how it works on Xbox, but I've got tilt controls, so just get the right wavelength, so the two of you on the right wavelength, and then once you're combined, you can now control that animal, or jump onto the animal, and then like traverse the world on the back of a deer, and it's really good. Like I say, it's kind of one of those games, a bit like Journey, a bit like Ori, where there isn't any speech, and you're just going, right, what do I need to do? But it all just feels very natural, and it all just feels very, very lovely, and just very, very natural. Like, I got to a point on the train where I kind of got stuck in a puzzle, but I just worked my way around the world, and then I realised what it wanted me to do and what I needed to do, and it's really good. I absolutely love it.
So is it as much a platformer as it as a puzzler, or like I hate bucketing things, but is it more like a Metroidvania there, where you have to like try and grab other animals to get you access to higher or different environments where you can seek out more animals? Because I think this was something I couldn't really fathom from the trailers, because it didn't look like it was a character platformer, so I just didn't know where it lay in that sort of landscape.
Very much so. Like there is a point where you need to get over this rock, but you can't jump that high. You can climb. The way that Faye scales a tree is really good, because you go up to a tree, you press B, and it just kind of almost jumps from section to section. So the way it kind of scurries up a tree is really lovely, but there was no trees around, so I jumped on the back of the deer that I connected to, and they kind of made their chirping noise, and it just made a flower kind of open up, and then I could then jump on there, and there was an upstream from the flower that took me to the next part of the platform. So it's definitely not a character platform like a Jack and Dexter or something like that. It's very much a puzzle platform where you are using the elements around you, you're using the other animals. Like I say, I've got birds that are flying around like owl-looking kind of birds, because it's all very weird. They're almost lifelike. They're almost like real-world things, but slightly different. It has its own art style. So you can go up. I was going up to this owl. I was holding down one of my triggers, my Z trigger, to communicate, but the owl was just ignoring me because I wasn't powered up enough. And now you collect these pink stones throughout the world, and that powers you up. So I've now powered up enough to now connect with that bird, which is going to help me get to a couple of other sections. So it's definitely kind of, that's the way that the progression is working. And then instantly, as I unlocked an owl, I've got another set of stones that I need to connect, and there's another animal there. So it's definitely kind of, that's the progression through the game, as well as unlocking the puzzles. And I've just got to this point where there's this bird, and the bad guys in the game have taken the eggs, and I now need to go and find these eggs. And like I say, they are quite scary, actually, because you are completely defenseless at the moment against these things. So if they come across you and they shine their light on you, they then just throw all this stuff on you, this tar, and that's it, and then you're captured, and then you go back to the last save point. So you are kind of stealthily moving from bush to bush if you see them, to try and get around them or over them. And the sound is fantastic. The soundtrack to the game, the chirping, the chiming, the whole world, just it's a really good game. I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
And it kind of surprises me every time I fire it up, because it's got the big bad EA logo is there.
So you're surprised microtransactions throughout.
Yes.
Is this what we're saying? Yes.
So I have to, so I get to a certain point and it says, do you want to open this loot box to get this owl? And I'm like, yeah, I'll need a super owl. And then
you have to crush the owl down if you get 3 of the set. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So yeah, it's really lovely. So the team behind it, obviously, it's kind of EA's indie arm, and I believe they're doing this pro bono. It's kind of almost all of the proceeds of this game goes to the studio, who I can't remember what the studio's called, but it goes to them. And so it's very good that this game exists, because this game is absolutely gorgeous, and it's 4K on the Xbox. So if I continue to like it as much as I am, I'm very tempted to buy it on the Xbox and just have a bit of a play there, because it might be worth it.
Graphics whore.
I know, absolutely. But I was just sitting there playing, because normally what happens, as we all do, is like you're playing something on Xbox, go, oh, this would be really good on the Switch. But when I was playing it on the Switch, I was like, oh, this would be really good 4K.
There's a cross play that we really want. Where's the cloud saves between Nintendo and Xbox?
Absolutely, and that's it. It's quite interesting, because I haven't read it, but we got sent an email. We got sent an email about that. About kind of like buying FIFA on one platform. Should you then be allowed to play it on other platforms? And there was a discussion talk, and I'll hold that email and I'll send it around to the group, and maybe when we've got a bigger group on the pod, we'll have a chat about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
So excellent. So right, let's jump into the news section. But before we jump into the news section, don't forget you can rate, review and subscribe to this very podcast free on iTunes and YouTube. So in this week's news section, DC heroes are invading Rocket League, Nintendo have a refund problem, and we return to Paradise City. But James, the first piece of news, sir, is with you.
So this is starting with one of the topics that makes me roll my eyes.
Eye roll.
Oh, it's just cryptocurrencies. Everyone's heard of them. No one really understands how they're done. So, do you remember Atari?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's very many guises. Well, apparently Atari is trying to make a comeback, this time in the cryptocurrency stakes.
What?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what form Atari takes nowadays, other than a name that people put onto T-shirts. But apparently, whichever entity this is has bought up 60% of a company that is specialising in blockchain-based digital entertainment platforms.
What?
Yes, yeah.
That's bizarre.
So
that is absolutely bizarre.
Like the whole concept of this just makes my mind boggle. But the fact they're now entertainment platforms around cryptocurrencies, I think they mean like a casino. I think they mean that some sort of like gambling environment where you can actually use the cryptocurrencies more readily than buying a pizza. But more so than that, Atari haven't just bought a stake in the company specialising in this. They are actually launching their own digital currency.
What?
I know. It's this is as much a news story because I just want to
But how do you farm it? How is this cryptocurrency farmed?
I think it's like so. As far as I'm aware, everything to do with cryptocurrency is about handling algorithms of other parts of the cryptocurrency chain. Effectively, you handle the logs, the logistics of actually processing all this, almost like folding with friends, where you take massive computational problems and share it out between hundreds, thousands, millions to try and make it easier. But of course, it's now this digital buzzword. Like there's Twitter adverts that go past daily asking me if I want to invest in a platform of a cryptocurrency I haven't yet heard of. And I know Manny actually started dabbling at one point in cryptocurrencies, and I think it was more like a pocket money type thing, just to see which way it went. But the fact that you can just almost do this as a whim, as a joke, it's just insane. So yeah, Atari are trying to get into this market as well, and their chairman and chief executive officer put out a statement. See what you make of this. Blockchain technology is poised to take a very important place in our environment and to transform, if not revolutionize, the current economic ecosystem, especially in the area of the games industry and online transactions. Our aim is to take strategic positions with a limited cash risk in order to best create value with the assets in the Atari brand. What?
So do you just play Pac-Man to farm cryptocurrencies?
Oh my God.
Is that what it is?
But you see, if they actually went down that route, that would be an amazing spin. Like, rather than just leaving graphics cards on overnight, sucking the energy of Finland, if you could actually play it, like the loading screen games like in Ridge Racer.
Yes.
You play Pac-Man, you play these mini games until you've got £1 or something like that, and then you can go and spend it. It's just
that's it. Then you can go and spend it in their casino. But yeah, that would be much. I would be interested then. But you're right. I mean, like just farming these is just leaving your PC on overnight. That's just like let it do its thing. It's just bizarre. But I can't believe that Atari. Just because haven't they got like a NES Mini kind of style thing that's potentially coming out with lots of Atari games on it?
They have. I think that's gone quite quiet because I haven't heard anything about that since last year, and I find that one bizarre as well because the amount of games that I would think stand up nowadays is probably few and far between because you can fit probably the entire Atari back catalogue onto one like SD card, like just full on, just everything they've ever done on there. And I don't know how much love there is for the Atari, a portable console, because it's been in like the gadget shop for like 30 odd years now. It's like this,
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it's just like on the back of was it Crytek who also released a cryptocurrency at the tail end of last year. It just seems to be like the buzzword at this point in time, like Web 2.0, or like the companion app of 5 years ago. Like you're not anyone if you haven't released a cryptocurrency in this day and age.
And Atari are trying to get relevant again by kind of trying to be one of the cool kids.
Yes,
by taking a cryptocurrency.
I get the feeling they'd have probably made more money by actually just buying up all the graphics cards and doing. Their stock price did jump 60% at the announcement of this.
Oh wow!
But that was only to like 95 cents. So it's anything to get some promotion.
And it's just plummeted again. I remember watching. Did you see Blade Runner 2049 last year? Did you see?
I haven't seen that yet. I have got that on my list of things to do, but not yet.
Right, because there's Atari logos all over that as well. So which is kind of very in keeping to the original. There's one bit where you're kind of going down this building, and it is just the Atari logo. On the side of a building.
Nice.
And it's gorgeous. It's lovely. And that did make me pang for Atari, but not in a cryptocurrency kind of way.
You wonder if they're going to be in Ready Player One as well. If there's going to be any nod to them, or whether the characters that featured on the Atari don't really quite make the jump to like 4K nowadays. The fact they were made from like 4 pixels. But yeah.
Holy moly. So yes, so that's it. So has there been any kind of update, or is it now available? Can you now start mining your Atari cryptocurrency?
I believe this was just a stock to the announcement to the stock exchange the other week. Right. So watch this space. Or probably we won't hear from Atari again for another 2 years until, I don't know, they bring out fidget spinners.
Yeah. That's the next thing. Well, ask Manny. Manny will tell us.
See if he's made any quid on it,
Yeah, he'll see how much money he's made from an Atari cryptocurrency. Awesome. Excellent stuff. Next piece of news is with me, and this is quite exciting, and I get to say Batman at it's 1 hour. It's the 1 hour mark. But this is that DC superheroes are coming to Rocket League in potentially, and I'll stick this in the show notes, one of the coolest announcement trailers for a while. It was Rocket League. They announced this week that we're going to get the 1989 Batman, the Chris Nolan Dark Knight Rises Tumbler are coming to Rocket League. I already have the Ben Affleck Batmobile already in Rocket League on Xbox, but these are coming to Rocket League in a new DLC pack. And not only do we get these two Batmobiles, but we also get a whole bunch of skins, I think, for the existing Rocket League cars that are Wonder Woman, that are Flash. So we've got Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, which I'm very excited about, Superman, Wonder Woman, and also a DC player banner are all in this pack. And this is it's quite nice to hear that you're back in Rocket League, because I'm like, maybe I'll buy this and then I just have one really bad game because I'm really bad at it. But it's just to play in the 1989 Batman, which is one of the best Batmobiles, and the Tumbler as well, which is another one of those iconic ones. Just will be amazing to just play Rocket League in those cars.
They look fabulous as well.
The Flash one looks amazing.
The Flash, I think they've done some really nice things with it, because they've actually turned the hubs on the wheels into full-blown logos. So there's a nice big Wonder Woman and Flash shield stuck on the outside, and so they really are quite striking. But again, I honestly think the Rocket League have done the DLC the right way for the most part. Like, sidebar, I actually logged on the night. They've got loot chests, and you have to buy keys to unlock them. That bit I'm not so keen on. But I'm not quite sure. Anyway, it's like $3.99 I'm sure it's going to be cheaper in sterling, but for the amount of licensed stuff that you get for that is quite a good price. You could see a lot of other companies really overcharging for that.
Yes, but like I say, the announcement trailer that came out, and I'll put a link to this in the show notes, it just showed the 1989 Batman, the Tumbler. They used the music from the movies, and they used scenes. There was even recreating scenes from the movies. I was just like, oh, this is so good. Because I saw, obviously, it's instantly spoiled because it's like Rocket League, DC superheroes. So I watched the trailer, and I was like, I'll watch that again. Let me just watch that once more. And I was just watching these Batmobiles kind of come into Rocket League. I was very happy when this came out. So this DLC is dropping. You're right, it's $3.99. I don't know if there's a UK price, but it's normally about $2.99, and it's coming out on the 5th of March. So we're kind of a week away, roughly, a week and change away from that coming out.
That's going to be good. Get that for a week before we go on to, to something we're going to talk about in a bit. But it's good.
Yes.
A good weekend's worth of Rocket Leaguing, hopefully.
Absolutely. I could see some kind of some multiplayer gaming kind of Friday nights being lined up here. I'm just like... So yes, a bookend Rocket League, Sea of Thieves. I quite like this. This is going well, but it looks fantastic. The Tumbler looks amazing, and I can't wait to play it. Maybe I should start training so I'm not as embarrassed as I was last time we played, where it was almost like that one at the back of the field is like you Manny and Matt were just going, yeah, you just stay down there.
Stay in goal. You go. Just stay there.
You just take the goal, and I'm like, this is really good. And I'm just like going backwards and forwards. It's like the goal's open and still I miss. So maybe I should do some training on Rocket League.
Cue a montage from Antony.
Yes. It's just like me missing goals and just still having a good time. So so DC superheroes coming to Rocket League 5th of March. So we'll report back some more when we get there.
Cool. And talking of downloadable products, we have some news on the Nintendo side of things as well, where Norway is not too happy with Nintendo's way of doing things at this point in time. Norway, I'm not quite sure which part of Norway, because this news story is very broad. Norway have accused Nintendo of breaking the law by not letting customers get a refund on pre-orders. And I thought it was interesting to call this out, because I know you do as well. We tend to buy a lot digitally nowadays if you don't get it through Boomerang. And I've never actually tried to cancel a pre-order on this, but I am always very aware of that little tick box on most of the stuff that you buy, where it almost just says, you need to waive your rights as your standard consumer rights to buy this digitally. Because as soon as you buy it, that's it. It's yours. No takesies backsies. And it seems that Norway has taken offence to this, and in an open letter to Nintendo, their Consumer Council has basically asked for the company to comply with the European law on the eShop, saying that they don't think it's easy enough to cancel a game. Even if it's months ahead of the actual release date, they think it should be like a one-button solution, almost like it is with cancelling something from Amazon. You just do it online, do it on a form. And Nintendo, in reply, have basically said they do comply with the law itself. So it sounds like this is one of these, not so much grey areas, but they comply, but how easy is it to get a refund?
Yes.
So the Norwegian authority base says the company plainly states that all purchases are final. According to the right of withdrawal laid down in Consumer Rights Directive, such terms are illegal. Until the game can be downloaded and launched, the seller cannot prohibit the consumer from cancelling their pre-order. It just got me thinking, like, how does this general knowledge that it's hard to cancel digital games affects you? Because I mean, for me, like, I know we're pretty much I'm gonna buy certain games straight away, but it's still I still hold off almost until the last minute. Things like Burnout Paradise and things like FIFA, when I know I'm going to play a season with it, pretty much no matter what the reviews. I still hold off right until the last minute because I don't want that money sunk and unreturnable. Whereas I'm more freely happy to do so with something like Amazon or Game. Because I think I told you guys this week that I've actually cancelled half of my Labo pre-order. Like when the Labo pre-order hit, it's like, yes, I need to get this. And so as soon as the pre-orders came out, put the cash down for the variety pack, put it down for the robot pack, and for also the accessories pack. Full knowing that I could just, as I've already done, take some time, know that I've got my place in the queue, but actually then consider going, no, this is too much. I'll go for the variety pack and save 70 quid from the robot pack. But when it comes to digital, I don't feel I have the potential to cancel it at the last minute, and I think this just calls it out.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're absolutely spot on. I think for me, I do, just because sometimes I like playing those games at the midnight launch, so I am kind of, yep, I like this. So like Halo Master Chief Collection, Horizon Zero Dawn, Rare Replay, I'd kind of pre-ordered kind of way in advance so I could play it in, so I could get it right then, at that midnight launch and be part of that kind of zeitgeist when that was happening. But you're right, I do, if it's a game that I'm not quite sure on, then I will wait and get closer and closer. I still want to buy digitally. I still enjoy kind of not having physical now, but again, it is always that. Well, if Mass Effect was case in point, I actually managed to get a refund from Microsoft on them, but it was only because I hadn't played the game, and then I think I'd played part of the EA Access demo, and it was so bad that I then just said, look, I haven't actually, and this was before launch, I said, I haven't actually opened that game that I've pre-ordered, can I get a refund? But it took talking to someone on Microsoft's site, it took someone, talking to chat and getting all of that sort of working through to take it out, and that's the only one that I've been bitten with. Obviously, I did pre-order digitally No Man's Sky.
Don't talk about No Man's Sky. Let's
not go there. But that was too late because I'd already fired it up, and I think if we listen back to early pods, I was enjoying No Man's Sky for the first couple of days. I was actually, this is great, I'm enjoying this, and then afterwards I was like, yeah, though, this is it, isn't it? This is, but so I've never really been bitten by it yet. So it's always that case of, well, I'm okay with this. But I do think that when I'm pre-ordering, that's it, because I think they even take it from your account, don't they?
Pretty
right
much,
there and then. It's So even if I'm pre-ordering a game that's coming out next year, they're taking the money kind of right now, and it's an interesting thing, and I've never really thought about it. Like I say, apart from Mass Effect, that's the only one I've had to get back. I've never actually kind of thought about I'm putting this down and there's no backsies. Yeah, so it's just
I've almost come to accept the fact that I can't trade in, or as soon as I start playing, get the refunds. But I'd probably be tempted to buy more if I could think I could cancel it far in advance.
Yes,
it's that like I know I'm here, I know I've got that just ready lined up. But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting one.
That is really interesting. It's got me thinking actually, because but like I say, I now am in that ecosystem now where all I want to do is buy digitally. You know, the fact that I'm sitting on my sofa and I can go from Forza Horizon to Forza Motorsports to Halo to whatever without having to get up, because I'm old and lazy, without doing that. It's amazing. You know, just being able, someone jumps online and says, do you want a quick game of this? You don't have to go hunting for a disc. Yep. It's just instantly there. And it's getting that way with movies as well. You know, we've actually had all the movie room packed up now, and all of the Blu-rays are now in storage, and we're going through all the Marvel movies, and instantly I'm looking round all of the digital silos before I even think about a disc, and you know, even to the point where you would buy something online, you know, rather than to go and forage around for a disc.
I did that with Ghostbusters when we watched it the other year. I realised I've got Ghostbusters 1 on Blu-ray, but then I found out to my horror that I only had Ghostbusters 2 on DVD, and I just, no, Ali, no, we are not watching this. I'm going to buy the HD version, but we've got it. No.
I'm going to download it. Wow. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I will happily, you know, I'm happy to live in this digital world, you know, and it's the same with, let's say, same with movies, same with music as well now.
Yeah.
You know, my CD collection, I kind of sold off to Music Magpie or something like that, you know, kept all my Prince collection and Pearl Jam and that sort of stuff, but then just bagged everything else off because I'm happy to live in my iTunes world.
About the only physical things I get nowadays, I guess, apart from board games, are rule books, like for when we do D&D or stuff like that.
Right.
So I still think there's something great about having something tactile that you want to flick back and forth through. But yeah, everything else, Kindle, like all my MP3s on the OneDrive, everything else, I think it's because every time we move house, I just want to minimise. I just want to get rid of everything. And it's compulsion after a while. So, digital is helping that.
It feels good. It feels good. You feel lighter.
Yeah.
You just feel lighter. I got rid of, like I say, lots of stuff because the movie was being packed up, and I got rid of lots of, it felt nice. You know, it just felt lovely. You just felt this burden being lifted. So, yes, indeed. So, that's really interesting. So, next piece of news is with me, and this is about Rainbow Six Siege, and it's very interesting because this weekend they had their 2018 Invitational tournament. So Ubisoft obviously not only just doing this tournament, but they were also kind of touting kind of the forward plans for Rainbow Six Siege, as well as having a free weekend. So there was a free gaming weekend. I think Ubisoft, their weekend was from Thursday to Monday. So I want to work for Ubisoft if that's what the weekend is, because that sounds like great company to work for. But they had and they were saying that over this free weekend, they clocked up to 27 million players while playing Rainbow Six Siege.
That's impressive.
So not only were they saying these are the numbers, obviously going up against, you know, things like PUBG and etc., but they were saying that's how many players we have. Obviously not concurrent, but that's how many players we have. And they also started to communicate the vision. So they said when we started this, we did have this vision that we would be rolling out 100 operators. So operators are the characters within the game. At the moment, they're up to, I think they said they're up to about 36. So there is still a long game. And what they've actually said is that Rainbow Six Siege has a 10-year plan. So there's going to be no sequels to Rainbow Six Siege. They're going to be using this game, and they're going to be using this game for the next 10 years. I think we're into year 3 now, so they're saying that they're going to be playing and using this platform for the next 7 years.
I think this is really impressive, because obviously when Destiny and Activision came out saying they had a 10-year plan as well, I think anything that tries to have a proper narrative hook into it is going to struggle to really see that vision through. But something, I'm not going to call it esports because I think that's belittling it, just to put it in this bucket. But just looking at how Rainbow Six has been structured and how well it's taken off, I have always been impressed with how they have try to put over this plan of longevity, even to the point where when they release the season's work, what the developers are going to do over the next year, they even build in the maintenance windows, which I think is wonderful. There's this transparency so that players can see that, we're going to give you new stuff, but we also need to shore up the old stuff that we probably have knackered along the way. Technical debt, people, it occasionally needs to be repaid. But just this openness, and I'm really actually happy that something like this can exist in the AAA space as well, because you see something like League of Legends and Dota or so, and although they are highly polished, they never really came out as AAA, whereas Ubisoft don't do anything but. And to give this vision that something on the console, something on the PC can do this and keep on giving, I do hope more games take this sort of mantle and run with it. Because I hope that Hitman is going to do the same. They're obviously, with the developer and publisher troubles they've had, that's been slightly derailed. But the talk of Hitman being a platform, of something that will keep on pushing content. And this Rock Band as well, I always wish that had been just a platform rather than a 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, there is potential there, because people don't want to keep spending £40-50 on, digital things they can't cancel when they pre-order them. It's like, make this a system, make this something I want to keep coming back to time and time again.
Yes, and I'm surprised that more games haven't come along like this, like Madden, FIFA, all of the EA games that we still have those yearly iterations, that we haven't got this platform of EA sports titles where they just release the latest pack, which is the latest outfits, the latest players, etc., the latest roster. I'm surprised we haven't seen that already. So it is, you're absolutely right. It's really refreshing to see that Ubisoft are doing this with Rainbow Six, because it could be so tempting and so easy for them to just say, we're going to bring out Rainbow Six Siege 2 and then just up-res the graphics a little bit more, bring those into 4K HDR, and then just do that and bring those players across. But they've noticed that they have this returning player base that just keeps coming back, and the changes that they're doing. I've heard on other podcasts where there's someone who has been away from Rainbow Six Siege for a while, has gone back and is just blown away by the changes, and just saying there's just so it's almost kind of rekindled that love for the game, because they've kind of come back. And it's kind of what I was hoping for with Destiny, and Destiny's that game where you almost forget about it, and then a DLC will come out, and then you'll go back in and then play it, and then you'll play it, and then you'll forget about it, and then go back. And obviously we've had like Destiny 2 now, because I think this was very similar to kind of Destiny's vision, wasn't it? It was supposed to be, Bungie's vision was to have that as a 10-year plan, but maybe the technical debt was too high for Destiny 1, so they had to bring out Destiny 2, and then, to kind of right the wrongs and make that platform. But I think you'll probably see a Destiny 3 before you see a Rainbow Six Siege 2.
Yes.
So, but it's just, I mean, the latest thing that's just been added to Rainbow Six is the outbreak mode, so is the zombie kind of survival, and it's just nice that they've gone from, this was really about storming a house, which was the original kind of premise of this game, to terrorist hunt, and now they're kind of bringing in zombies. So they're doing things that are fresh, and with that amount of players, they have people coming back at time and time again. Yeah,
I think with that many players as well, you can afford to put in new modes, because what were we playing? There was something that I played recently, and there were so many modes that you could see the player base has been split across all these different buckets. As some people wanted to play huge battles, some people wanted to play novelty games, but things like Rocket League, like where it's just got this core set of like 7 different modes, and they're all broadly the same, so it doesn't matter. But when you've got 27 million players knocking around, it's like, you can afford to take a chance, throw something and see if it sticks. But
yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, there is, you go into Halo or something like that, and you go into multiplayer of Halo, there's so many different maps and modes, isn't there? So it is like...
Oh, that was it. It was the Master Chief Collection. That's Sunday night. Yeah, when we went Sunday night, it's like, not only could you choose from the vast different array of Halo options, Big Team Battle or Slayer or SWAT, it's like, you could choose which version of Halo you played it on.
That's so cool.
I shudder to think of the testing matrix they had to do with that, but yeah.
Yes, which probably explains a lot about the game. It was quite interesting, actually, because I think Phil Spencer this week, Phil Spencer did a DICE he did a DICE keynote, and I've got it kind of saved. I want to watch it because I think it was live on YouTube, and it's now kind of video on demand, and I want to sit down and watch it. But one of the things they were talking about was Master Chief Collection, how they're going to continue, how Bungie, or 343 I should say, not Bungie, but 343 are going to continue to patch and fix that game. They don't want to leave the Master Chief Collection broken. It's got a lot better than when it first came out, but they don't want to, and they want to continue to update that. So that kind of made me happy, because I do like dipping into the Master Chief Collection every now and then, especially when there's a new Halo coming out. That's a good time to then start playing all those old Halos and just jumping into your favourite level.
Doing what you're doing with the Marvel Universe, just start from the beginning and work your way through again.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we did. I mean, when the Master Chief Collection came out, we just went from like 1 through to 4 and ODST. We just sat and just played those, and they were just such great games just to kind of go back and revisit and play. But I think with the Master Chief Collection, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can actually say, I want this level, and then after that level, I want all the Flood levels, and then you can then actually create a playlist of single player games, and then mix and match. I'm sure I just didn't dream that in some.
I think I'm just too much of a purist and just going. I'm just going to play through.
Yeah. I just want all the Flood levels because you hate yourself, and it's just that sort of stuff. But no, I'm very interested in Rainbow Six Siege. I haven't jumped in even at the free weekend. I just got sidetracked, but I would be. It's just definitely a game that you just kind of got to tip your hat to, and it would be worthwhile. I think I'll watch out for the next free weekend and maybe try and get some people together to play it, because I think it's definitely worthwhile just seeing what it's about. Just see what the gameplay's like.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice going back to those sort of things, especially when they give you the wealth of options to mix and match. Yes, indeed. So the next piece of news, James, is with you. Speaking of going back and mixing and matching, well, with Burnout Paradise rumours, it turns out they were true. I think it was earlier in the year when my brother was especially getting excited about the hint that Avril Lavigne would be once again piping through his speakers as he raced around downtown, insert name of fantasy city here. And the 16th of March we're getting a 4K 60Hz remake of Burnout Paradise coming to Xbox and PlayStation, with a PC version later this year. Nebulous release date. But they are throwing everything at it. You will get all 8 of the add-on packs that were... It's almost 10 years old. I've completely forgotten that. Wow. 8 of the add-on packs, and they're throwing everything at it. And I think pretty much like Faye, they have guaranteed that no EA microtransactions will be involved at this point in time. Yes. If they're paranoid, the fact that they have to say that. But yeah, this is good. This is good. Like, I think we were all talking about maybe getting it as backwards compatibility and having a go later in the year. But when the rumours started to circulate on this, I think we all held off. So there is already a Burnout Paradise Lost Sparks play date in the diary, which we're very much looking forward to. I can't wait. The fact that it's 4K, 60 frames a second, just kind of, that makes me happy. It looks... Did you see the trailer? I haven't actually. I just assumed it would be a very shiny racing game, so I didn't watch the trailer. You're like, oh wait. And I think it's for those of you who are in EA Access, you can actually get it a week before. So a week before, EA Access will be giving a 10-hour free trial. I think that's kind of what they do. They kind of give you that. So they'll be giving you a free trial a week before. Nice. But I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until that Friday. Kind of have it, make sure it's there, get home from work, and then we all jump online and just all wow at the same time. Yeah, we better find out how much of a tutorial we have to get through before you can all join in. But yeah, kind of changing your name, making your avatar before you do all that, before you hear the Guns N' Roses blast through your speakers. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm now watching the trailer actually, and it's like it's fair enough. You can still see they've probably got the same poly count, but it looks like the lighting, just it looks nice. It looks very nice indeed. Exactly. Those shadows look great. It just looks fantastic. To my sins as well, this is one of the Burnouts that I've probably played the least. Right. If barely at all. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't actually, but maybe I own it but haven't played it in a very churlish way. Because I absolutely loved 3. I loved Takedown with a passion. And that was absolutely amazing. And I can't remember why I didn't play this one as much, but they seem to have some sort of crazy DeLorean flying cars in it as well, which I never realised. Really?
Was that an add-on pack, do you think?
I can only assume so.
It must have been.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I can't wait. I'm quite excited about it. It's really interesting kind of seeing on Twitter and amongst the kind of our group and everything. It's just how, Burnout Paradise may not have been the most popular or the most critically acclaimed Burnout, but it definitely is the kind of most loved. I think they've chosen the right one here, as
yeah. Well,
I
think if you look back at some of the previous ones as well, maybe they date slightly more. We were talking about Crazy Taxi early. I remember the original Burnout because that came out to PlayStation 2 and GameCube as well. But I can remember playing it in the arcade, and it was really quite limited, and you could really see its arcade origins. And I think that slowly started to get shed with 2 and 3, as I say, was absolutely fantastic. But I think Paradise is the only one that will really stand up to today's game mechanics, something that people will find accessible, or just the open city is almost like a needed mark, I think, of these fun racing games, because you can see like there's a Forza Horizon type joy that you just have from driving around and having a mess about with it.
Yes, you can tell this is definitely something Playground Games were playing while they were making Forza Horizon, especially 3. It feels very much, the billboards and kind of taking out the billboards. It just has all those things that I love about Forza Horizon.
Yeah. So Burnout Paradise Remastered coming for 35 of your English pounds in just a few weeks' time.
Bargain. So you can pre-order it now, can't you? If you want to. We probably should, so it's there ready. And that's the great thing about it, because like I say, it's on a Friday that it's coming out, and it is a Friday, isn't it, that it's coming out, and
how
so
very
I'll be in
old school.
London. Yeah, I'll be in London, so it's just a case of have pre-order it, and let it download while I'm at work, and then so we can then jump on and play Friday night.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, it's so good. And then the last piece of news is with me, and that is the free Games with Gold. So Major Nelson has announced the Games with Gold for March, which will be available at the start of March. And we have, so we'll just quickly kind of run through them, and we have, coming the 1st of March to the 31st of March, we have Trials of the Blood Dragon. Ooh. Now this is very interesting, because it's kind of Blood Dragon, which was and it's trials together, so you're doing the trials as in the bike, but at the same time there's bosses as well to take down and guns. It looks very interesting, so I'm kind of taking like Blood Dragon as the add-on for, what was that game that had the
Far Cry.
Yes.
4, 3?
Yes, that suddenly had that 80s VHS, amazing kind of... So when I saw Blood Dragon, I thought it was that, but it's not. It's Trials of the Blood Dragon, which is kind of a bit of that, and also Trials game. And I was watching the video that came along, and I'll stick it in the show notes for the announcement, and it just looks bonkers, because Trials is hard enough, but without a helicopter shooting at you while you're trying to do all of the jumps and swirls and stuff like that. So this looks like it could be a ton of fun, and it's going to be free on the 1st of March to the 31st of March on Xbox One.
Yeah, it's good. I remember playing a hell of a lot of the first Trials game.
Yes.
There was, especially around the office and with friends, the fact they had almost the leaderboards within the level itself, just as how far you could get. There was a really Moorish, just one more go quality to it all. But I think by the time we got to Blood Dragon, I was probably trialsed out. So yes. I might retrial.
Because it's quite cool, because the thing I love about Trials is that instantly you can tell if you're, because you have the ghost of your friends, and then it has and everyone else, so it's like, okay, you're not beating James, but you're close to Manny, you're close to Matt, you're close to Steve, and as you go, right, you're beating Steve now, and I love that. Or you can just say, no, I'm gonna now quit, and it's instant replay, and that kind of instant. There's like one button that takes you back to the start of the level, and I always loved that with Trials, because you kind of never got that frustrated with it. It was just instantly back to the start. So we got Trials of the Blood Dragon from March 1st to March 31st, and then coming the 16th of March to April 15th, we have Super Hot. So Super Hot is coming to Games of Gold, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Super Hot's such a great game.
I'm actually really surprised by this. I think Super Hot still, I thought, had... I don't want to do any games with gold down, but you always think like it's dropped to a certain point by it reaches like the PS Plus or the games with gold thing. So Super Hot is one of the first ones in a long time. I'm going, I will definitely get this.
Yes. Yeah, this is fantastic. I actually have it on the PS4 because you can play it in
it's
VR.
the VR mode, yeah.
Yes, but I haven't donned my VR hat for a while. I can't wait to play this in VR. But I can't wait to also play it on Xbox One as well.
Yeah, I can remember when it was just. It started out as like a tiny little like flash demo, didn't it? And then it sort of snowballed from there. So,
yes,
yeah.
I just love the mechanic that you're stopping time as you're moving. So if you stand still, the time stands still. It only moves as you move. So you then have to almost kind of look at what's happening in that room and then plot your course to kind of get around bullets or get around the enemies or take out the enemies. And I just love this game. It's just such a great game.
Cool.
And then over on Xbox 360, but playable on Xbox One with backwards compatibility, we have Brave. So Disney's Pixar Brave.
Yeah, I'm glad to see your face make the same sort of expression mine did when I saw that. I always had to check the listings. Like, is there a... No, there's not a Brave 2 coming out, is there? No, the Blu-ray came out a long time ago.
Yeah, I was like, is this Lego Brave? Is this how... What? It's just... What?
Yeah. Brave, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, so from the 1st of March to the 15th of March, you can all be quizzical over why Brave is available to download for free. And then from the 16th of March to the 31st, we have Quantum Conundrum. Now, I remember really liking Quantum Conundrum. I think it came off the back of Portal 2 on the Xbox 360, and I wanted more of that. And Quantum Conundrum filled that void.
Cool, because I remember hearing good things.
Yes.
But I can't remember it. And I'm looking through the screenshots now on the website, and it just shows me lots of backgrounds, and I have no idea what the game is.
But it's definitely if I'm getting the right game right, if I'm on the right game and not something else completely different. It was very much kind of Portal-esque. You were first person mode, walking around this laboratory, this
definitely
mansion,
a lab,
and you were doing some Portal-esque stuff.
Okay.
And I was quite excited about this. But speaking of Portal, actually, did you know that Portal Bridge Constructor is coming out? The end of February is coming out on Xbox One.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. I do occasionally like a crazy physics game, so that could be good.
I know this is. I was trying to explain it to Nicola, and she was just like, "What? I want it, but what?"
Bridges.
You know. It's like, what are these words that you're talking about? Like, Portal and a bridge constructor game. Put those two together, and so it's coming out. I believe it's the 27th of February.
Interesting. My mental mind is going like, that's before Burnout? There was something else at the start of March. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a release schedule of what. Suddenly from nothing, there's a lot of things.
Yes, we've got Far Cry at the end. Obviously, Sea of Thieves. We've got Sea of Thieves. Yeah. There's a lot of multiplayer games, and then you've got Far Cry in there.
What was March the 5th? Something was on March the 5th as well. We spoke about it earlier. I'm going to have to start writing these things down.
Yes.
Then Labo as well in the near future. It's just too much.
Labos, yeah. What's coming out March the 5th?
And then soon...
Rocket League.
Rocket League, that was it.
Rocket League,
there we go.
The DLC for Rocket League. We're not going crazy.
No.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
$7.99.
Yeah. $7.99 on Xbox.
Cool.
Bridge Constructor for Xbox is coming out, and this just looks... Yeah, we need to start putting in this timetable of games that are coming out. Things that you should be interested... I mean, we did that. We started doing that for 1 month, where we were doing kind of games that are coming up, and maybe we should start doing that again.
If only for our own benefit.
Yes, so we can go yes, no, yes. Yeah. So we got Portal Bridge Constructor is coming out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's kind of another game that I saw today when I was looking around the Xbox Dash was Surviving Mars. Have you seen this? It's like a Mars survival game. It's almost like a terraforming game on Mars, and it's available on Xbox One.
Interesting aesthetic from the pictures. Anyway, yeah, coming 15th of March.
Yeah, but it does make me worry. It does make me worry because whenever I see stuff like that, I always think No Man's Sky. So I always worry a little bit. But that's it. So that's Games with Gold and everything else. And that's about it for this episode. So big thank you for listening. James, thank you very much for pulling up a mic.
It's been a pleasure. Just glad not to stare at Visual Studio for 2 hours.
Superb. Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamerslostspark.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. We're at LostSparkPod. You can also find us on YouTube and also the Gamers Lost Spark PS4 community and Xbox One Club. James, where can people catch up with you?
I am Big Sheep on Twitter, Xbox Live, PSN and Nintendo.
Awesome. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostspark.com. Right, that's it. Say goodbye, James.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Insert theme tune here.